Hey everyone, I'm going to be commenting on Vital Strength of the Earth versus Bradenburg-Prussia 6. In this matchup, usually I'll go for board D, just because it has some favorable parts, or some favorable features of the board, including the beast token kind of in the corner there, and then an easily accessible coastal land right next to your starting sacred site. Here, jungle and sands explored first. Usually what I'll do here is Year of Perfect Stillness on the sands, just because so you can see here I'm debating whether to go into the wetlands or just set up in the jungle first. Usually I'll just go straight into the wetlands because it's an easily defensible land. I'll play Year of Perfect Stillness just to avoid the city. And then followed by usually Guard of the Healing Land. Whenever I get a major power, I'm looking for a few different major powers that I could possibly get. And Manifest Incarnation is kind of one of the powers that I find works really well with the Spirit, just because it has the fear, it has the removal, and then it also does a Ravage, which you can pair with any of your defensive abilities to maybe get a little bit more out of the ability. Usually you'll get 2 Blight, just because Vital Strength doesn't have like that many ways of dealing with lands right off the bat. Here I see that coastal lands are going to Ravage, followed by another wetland building. So I really want to deal with these wetlands if I can. I see Paralyzing Fright. Paralyzing Fright is kind of like a better Year of Perfect Stillness. So I'll just take that for the fear, forget, draw the for Earth. Turn 1, I always forget Rituals of Destruction first. So I think I'm just going to let this wetland Ravage and get a Blight. Because I've defended with the double Dahan, that the top wetlands is basically just easily defensible. We have, and I can put just another town straight back into it, just because wetlands are going to Ravage again. So the problem here is wetlands in the corner. It's blighted, and if I let it Ravage, it'll cascade just a ton of blight and probably lose me the game. So I need to reclaim and get over there, probably to do Year of Perfect Stillness just to stop it from ravaging. So I go into the sands and use Year of Perfect Stillness because the targeting doesn't require Sacred Site, whereas Paralyzing Fright does. I could also do Guard of the Healing Land. Oh, I do Guard of the Healing Land. No, I should use Perfect Stillness just because it requires the Sacred Site. So here I'm realizing that I need the Sacred Site for targeting, so I need to go back and do Year of Perfect Stillness. And then sands are building next. So we get an event that can kill a town with the beasts. Sands build, we do have Paralyzing Fright available, and we also have Guard of the Healing Land if I need it. So we'll see what I do here. Fish for another major power. Vigor is good if you have the Dahan available, and then Atrophy is also good. It's a defensive option that lets you get rid of a city, so we're kind of trying for either terror level 3 or just a straight up fear victory. We do have Manifest Incarnation and Paralyzing Fright, which both generate a good amount of fear. So having Atrophy just lets you get rid of cities if you need it. So I go double defense here so that the Dahan can counterattack. And I think I put this into the Blighted Sands to get rid of a city, just because the extra 4 defend I don't think will be enough. Mountains and wetlands are building next, so I could possibly just let the sand blight, because the Dahan counterattack will end up destroying the invaders. So what do I do here? I do Paralyzing Fright and Manifest Incarnation. I get Ease the Drought, so I can discard 2 cards to put another presence, which is really useful. So I'm just going for more energy gain. And you have to place it into a land with Dahan. So I only have 1 of those, unfortunately. I get a nice fear card, which lets me lets the Dahan counterattack without a blight, and then Manifest Incarnation is able to basically deal with that entire sands and all the buildings in there. Here I have to decide whether I want to play 3 cards or go to 7 energy. I think if I go to 7, I'd have 9, and I'd only be able to play 2 cards anyway, so it doesn't really make sense to go to 3 cards straight away. Mountains and wetlands are ravaging, so we definitely want to deal with the middle mountains and the wetlands in the corner. And then you can also see that mountains is going to be ravaging and then immediately building after. So mountains ends up being a decent problem that we have to take care of. Again, it's nice to just have the sacred site on the top wetlands, just because you really don't need to worry about it once you do have a sacred site in there. Every time wetlands explores, just forget about it and deal with other stuff. So I Paralyzing Fright and then guard the healing land in order to get rid of the blight, so I can just allow the wetlands to blight there. I can gather a town. I'm trying to decide where to gather. I just gather it from the corner mountains, just so that it doesn't build a city straight away. Trying to figure out where to place Strife here. Just to save. Well, I guess I had a lot of defend there anyway, so it didn't really matter too much. So coming up, I have Sands Ravaging, which I can just place another presence in the other sands to deal with that. Fishing for another major power just to see what I get. Tsunami's pretty good. I can deal with the coastal land if I want to. But here I'm kind of coming up on a problem, and that problem is that sands and mountains are both ravaging, and if any of them ravage, I'm basically dead, just because everything cascades. So what I do is I just kind of hope for the best. I do Manifest Incarnation and Winds of Rust and Atrophy, and these mountains are the problem, so we'll see what ends up happening. doing some calculation just because it's defense 6, and in the middle mountains there's that city, but if I get rid of the city it's still 8 damage, and then the corner I could probably defend, but still the mountains is a problem. I think what I'm trying to figure out is I could just let the middle mountain blight and then let it cascade into the wetlands. So I think I end up just going for the middle one and hoping for a decent event or fear card, and then I get kind of a clutch event, Teach the Invaders, which turns the next Ravage into a build instead. So this one pretty much saved me, and that allows me to get off the Manifest Incarnation. Just adding stuff to the wetlands because it doesn't really matter at this point. So I get a good fear card. I can get rid of sands, one of the sands, just with the Dahan, and then get a bunch of fear with Manifest Incarnation. I think I'm deciding between jungle and sands here, yeah. Just because jungle is ravaging again and then building. So jungle's the problem. I need something fast because there's nothing left in the deck. I'm checking fear cards to see how much fear I need, and I only need 5 fear, I think. So I do have Paralyzing Fright, which gives me 4 fear, and then Rust and Atrophy gives me the last fear that I need. So I end up getting a fear victory, which I think is actually pretty common with Vital Strength versus Bradenburg-Prussia. I'm just checking the fear. I'm realizing that I can just play the cards, get the fear, and get the win. Yeah, and that's Vital Strength. Appreciate the watch, and have a good one.